my experience with the Confucianism, which is I grew up with. And okay, before I do that, let me just give you some little bit background about Chinese philosophy and history. Right? And as you know, that China has 5,000 years of history. And Confucianism was really Confucianism was about 2,500 years ago, right? It started 2,500 years ago. So that means there are 2,000 years before Confucianism. Okay, and at that time, the dominant theory is Taoism. What I mean Taoism is the philosophical Taoism, not the religious Taoism. And so what the philosophical Taoism talk about the yin-yang theory. Yin-yang means positive, negative, good or bad. Those are, because the two things really make up anything. Okay? So initially you have nothing, and then something created. Okay? How it created, we don't know, but somehow it's created an entity which encompose two things, positive and negative. We call yin and yang, and then evolve, and then expanded, and then derived the world. Okay? That's the theory behind it. Okay? How it's been done, we don't know. That's being proposed, and that theory has been very dominant in China for 2,000 years. And those kind of theory is hidden in a sense because the knowledge, as you know, the knowledge is not spread out throughout the country. Knowledge is only within the king's court. That means the king who rules the country maintain those knowledge and skill. So other common people have no clue what's going on because they're not educated, right? At that time, it's a long time ago. So all the knowledge base really comes from the king, or from the kingdom, right? So the theory of yin-yang doctrine has not been spread to the people, common people. Okay. Then Confucius comes in. Confucius, he was born from a noble family, and he has some exposure to the knowledge with the specialized knowledge of yin-yang theory. And then he spread his knowledge, and through his understanding and learning, and he spread to the common people. Because he started the school, right? And then teach the other students. And so he's the one who really bridged the gap between the privileged class and the unprivileged class. So that Confucius played a very important role in that regard. And then, because in Chinese culture, the three dominant theories of philosophy influence Chinese people. The first is the yin-yang, I just mentioned. Because a lot of common people really influenced by yin-yang in their daily lives. Okay? And then Confucius come in, and then of course he dominated China for 2,000 years. And then about 64 AD, and then another things come to China is the Buddhism. Okay? And Buddhism, as you know, is originated from India, right? And Nepal, and then spread to China. Okay? And in the Buddhism has been initially has been very influential in China because I'll explain it. Because in the traditional Chinese culture, we do not talk about after death. In both Confucianism and the philosophical Tao, we always emphasize how we should behave as a human being. Okay? We seldom talk about what happened to us after life, after death. Right? So the Taoism really filled the void because he came in and talked about there's a reincarnation, right? And talk about what happened to you after death, and would you become an animal, become another human being, or become something else, right? So it filled the gap that there's a cycle there. Okay, from very beginning to the very end, there's a cycle that fulfilled, and and also that a lot of people many common people need a religious, right? Religion to continue. So I think so Buddhism become very popular in China from that on. But the question is how Buddhism fit into the Chinese culture, because Buddhism, the philosophy about human behavior, is very much the same as Taoism. So that's why it fits very well with the Chinese philosophy, traditional philosophy, and there's no rejection there. and then it filled the gap, so it continued. So I think in today, in everyday Chinese, we are really embrace the three different types of philosophy: the Taoism philosophy, the Confucianism philosophy, and the Buddhism philosophy. So they are one in one body. So we thought Chinese is the one who wear a Taoist hat and Confucius gown and Buddhist sandal, right? So so the one who so a Chinese not just believe in one thing, but believe in many other values. So which is quite different from the Western philosophy. We are either Christian or something, right, or non-Christian. So it's very. I think the Western is much more simpler in this sense.